Welcome back, everyone. We are jumping straight into Game 2 here between FXOpen's and Capoch. It is going to be ZVP on Lost Temple. They are currently in Game 2, so Sheth currently up 1-0 if I'm informed correctly. So one more win for him will move him on to round 3 of the winners bracket. But these positions are going to be greatly favouring Sheth. We did see him in the first round take out In Control with some great timing pushes, which is good to see. But it's going to come down to if Capoch can change it, because I know Capoch has a very different playstyle to In Control.
Yeah, I feel that Capoch in general is just a very aggressive player. Whenever I cast tournaments of him, in fact, he played in my Open Wolf Cup a lot, and that's mostly the games I've cast. I've cast some just like friendly games of his with his friends and whatnot, but he's a very aggressive player, and does a lot of strategies that you don't see too often. And I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to go for an all-in, but I think he is down 1 in this series. Is that true? Or
Yes.
is this game 3?
Well, that's as far as I know it. This Game 2, Sheth is currently up 1-0.
Okay. Yeah, so he might try to do an all-in, but of course being down 1 is going to make it unlikely for him to really want to do that, because of course it's very risky. Don't want to lose an entire tournament with an all-in strategy. Well, actually, he'd be dropped into the loser's bracket, but still, don't want to lose a series with trying to do an all-in. But he's a very aggressive player in all of his matchups, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to do some 3-gate pressure, or perhaps 4-gate pressure, and then expand behind it. We do see Sheth going for pool first, and based on how they were talking, it sounds like Capoch did a can contain last game, so maybe that's why he's getting that pool first. Thatcher wasn't denied at all, because it wasn't going to be first, and Capoch is going to get over here, check for that expansion, move his probe away. Might throw a pylon down.
Something that's always just a personal insight to me, we have seen that on the PTR, Blizzard are going to be fixing that, or not fixing, but changing the way the bottom of the ramps work to stop that kind of stuff. It's always confusing to me how you still see players practice that continually. Like in tournaments, I can understand they want the win right then, but a lot of players still do practice that kind of build in practice matches as well. And
I think maybe they're hoping that Blizzard will revert that change. In fact, I'm hoping as well, because I think that that's one of the things about this matchup that's really dynamic that I really like. And taking it out just removes, it just lowers the skill bar a little bit, because it's really easy to stop a can contain if you just patrol the drone, or you're very map aware, watching that probe, things like that. That's my opinion on the issue, and I'm hoping it'll get reverted. But even if it's not, I still think we'll see players do triple pylon to contain, because you can still do that. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's the same cost, of course, as a hatchery. And I think we might see some more aggressive ways of cannon containing with those 3 pylons, trying to get cannons up the ramp and things like that. But only time will tell. Probe stayed alive for quite some time there, but those Zerglings did finish him off there in the north expansion. Meanwhile, we do have Capoch with a 3rd gateway and a 2nd gas, so it looks like he is going to be doing that sentry expand that's really popular. Did get a 2nd zealot before getting that sentry out. So interesting timing in that regard.
I think he's just worried about these lings if Sheth might be a little bit extra aggressive. Sheth is a lot more prone to poking at the main base a lot more often than most players, because he does like to keep that constant pressure there. Even though he's droning and expanding, he does want to keep that fine.
And we do have a creep going down for Sheth very quickly there before sending his queen, because that's really important when you go for hatch. Get that hatchery a little bit later. Want to have the creep line between those 2 bases, and especially start wanting to put some creep down at that natural, because he doesn't have a lot of creep there, which is really crucial to hold off attacks. And he is going to scout here with these Zerglings. Does see the expansion, has his own watchtower as well. And he's going to try to pressure it a little bit. There's a lot of sentries out, or rather, actually a lot of sentries out of position. And these Zerglings are going to do a lot of damage as Nexus. Might try to sneak in. Too many sentries, though.
Oh, a little bit of a
positioning there.
On the force fields. So that was a little bit slow, allowing those lings to get into the main base of the Capoch. Not what he wanted to do. He was trying to, I think he was trying to snipe an Overlord down the bottom. Now, Sheth will see exactly what's happening. Does lose most of those lings, but at least he's got that scouting information, knows that he can drone extremely hard right now. If we have a look at the income tab, we're at 36 drones to 25 probes right now.
Yeah, 5 of those probes were killed with that Zergling attack, and that is not going to make Capoch very happy. We do see him, or rather, we do see Sheth getting a second gas as well as his lair right now, and continue to drone, as you said. And I feel like he is pretty on top of things right now, and might take a quick base at the 9 o'clock position, or 6, yeah, 9 o'clock, or no, 6. What numbers are on clocks? I use digital watches. I don't know the bottom position. I
Wow.
can't tell time.
All right, so we do have that lair coming up now for FXOsheth. He's dropping down his roach wine. Whoa, I think, buddy, notice. I think that was supposed to be Evo Chambers. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he wants to get very quick double upgrade. You know, that's a possibility. I'm serious. It might be what he's got in mind because his lair is up, and there's no way he doesn't notice it. I would have to say that it is a good possibility he might try to go for both upgrades at once, and that would be very interesting. Could go for this big roach timing push, but he's gonna have to make a lot more roaches because he only has 1 in production right now, but 18 Zerglings, and no, yeah, he is gonna do it. Double upgrades there on those roach warrens.
Wow.
That's something I've never seen before, and we'll have to see how he executes it.
I can understand, actually. FXOsheth does love his timings in this game because he was A-level on Icy Cup in Brood War. But he don't think he expects to have this army pushing the front here. Wow, nice forcing a lot of force fields and backing off extremely easily. We do have a lot of roaches being pulled out now by FXOsheth. I think he just wants to delay this push here. We do have a lot of those stuff going down. He's got another spine crawler, 2 more spine crawlers. As long as he can... Oh, looks like he's going for it. For a counter-attack here. The Zealot is in the way, though. Doing a lot of damage to this gateway as well. More sentries being warped in. So FXOsheth being forced to pull back, but he is delaying this attack here by Capoch, allowing him time to get these roaches here.
Yeah, and he's gonna go for
I really think Capoch lost an opportunity there.
Look at the timing on those upgrades. All 3 of them finishing almost at the exact same time, and he is going to be able to push forward as soon as he gets just a few more roaches. And look at this pressure, though. It's going to be hard to deal with. He can burrow under those now in just a second.
Oh, there's the tunneling clause, so he will be able to do that now. But it looks like, coming from Capoch's point of view, he does not have a Robo Bay. It is going down now for that Observer, but I think he realizes there's no way he's going to be able to pressure FXOsheth now with those force fields.
Yeah, and some lane's gonna spot the rest of that army as they go back home. And, you know, FXOsheth, I think, was gonna go for a timing push, but it looks like now he's just going to expand at the 9 o'clock position. And look at this, we're gonna see a pylon probably for Capoch.
12 roaches on production right now.
Away. Wow. You know, I never really understood why roaches, when they get tunneling claws, they also get these little spikes on their heads. But they look scary. They give me nightmares. Look at these lings a little out of position over here at the top. Bit of a
as well as these
maybe
roaches.
Free up some supply. Gonna pick off maybe some of these units. And the
Forcing
problem
more
with sending
force
those
fields.
small forces of roaches was that it shows off that he has those spikes on his head. It's kind of like, uh-oh, I have tunneling claws. And FXOsheth can back out here if he wants to. Just attacking with the front with some of those roaches. Bit of a blunder. He needs to back out with some of those.
He does not have vision up that ramp at the moment. There's the Observer. He will be able to deal with these now. But sentries at the front, not in the best position there. Capoch still does have 7 sentries, though. FXOsheth does not have vision on that top of that ramp. That's really going to hurt him with those Stalkers at the front. Moving his roaches up to the top end of this flank here as he is producing more and more roaches. He's trying to take out all these warp gates to reduce the production capacity of Capoch. Capoch does have 4 gateways now to be able to deal with this. More force fields going down, more reinforcements coming in from FXOsheth. They're getting a nice surround. All these units from Capoch are stuck behind this gateway. And that has really put Capoch down to those 4 gates. And really, FXOsheth showing some nice control so far.
Yeah, he's
wasting as many force fields as he can.
Gonna retreat. Using, you know, like you said, forcing a lot of force fields. And he has taken that base down at the 9 o'clock position, getting a queen there. Needs to send some drones over.
Oh, nice
and
force fields, but
producing
got
more
most of the roaches in the front. So it's really forcing Sheth to engage, bringing those roaches from behind the force fields in front with those tunneling claws, really punishing Capoch right now.
Yeah, you know, this is actually a really nice little attack here. And this actually reminds me of a game in GSL Season 2. We saw this big all-in with upgraded roaches, and the Pros player, of course, struggling to hold it off. And I almost wonder if Sheth needs to back up here. He's trying to be a little bit more aggressive. I think he really wants to get that gateway, but he's lost so many units. If you look at the unit loss tab, I think actually shows that the Pros players lost significant more resources. I think part of that comes from the sentries, but hold that thought. He is going to get this gateway here, and a lot of stalkers at the front with that immortal, but there's a lot of roaches that are just going through those force fields with their burrowed movement, and immortal's doing the best they can, is going to be able to repel this a little bit longer, but these roaches are just starting to become overwhelming a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Though, so that immortal is really helping to turn the tide, though. But if we have a look, Sheth is at 133 supply to the 61 of Capoch. He's also still ahead in the drone count. He's taken. His third is up. He's got a couple of zealots there, but Sheth does have those 2 roaches to help deal with that, as he's just continually being pressured here.
Yeah, more roaches at the front. That one immortal tried to do the best he can, firing those phase disruptors at the roaches. The roaches are starting to become overwhelming. Immortal's kind of at the back, going back and forth like a little crab there. Wasn't able to engage for a moment. And look at that, almost losing all of his probes at the natural. Hasn't even transferred them into his main. I thought maybe he just ran them away, but he's actually lost almost all of his probes. And Capoch not looking like he's in a good position. I like retreating to the high ground, knowing that basically this Nexus is lost. Hydra's starting to pop out here, just one Hydra in that mix, but he's making more, and that's going to be great against this Immortal transition. And I think Capoch might be in trouble. We might see him drop down to the loser's bracket here in just a moment.
Yeah, it's just constant pressure. And something to notice before, like every time Sheth attacks this ramp, he sends 2 or 3 roaches to the top and was sniping more and more probes all along. And a bit of a shame that one unit can rape all. It's kind of like the same thing for the Void Rays as well, but we do have a GG, so Sheth will advance into the next round of the uppers bracket. Capoch getting sent down to the lowers.